What's up? Welcome to Sideline to Baseline with your hosts MB and K Lou. What's going
Hey,
on out there, world?
woo-hoo.
Man, we're so excited to be in your living room, your car, your closet, wherever you're sneaking around, tiptoeing. Hey, outside in your job, we with you too, man. Maybe somebody trying to get it in right now and getting that exercise in, because I've been noticing that on social media. Everybody been taking pictures of of them getting it in and encouraging other people. That's a good thing.
Yeah, you know what? You know who else getting in, K. Lou, that you mentioned that? Bishop
Oh,
George and Mary C. Wright from Abundant Life. They got like a fitness challenge going on. So
oh
they get
wow,
Pastor Mary. I saw she was
wow,
doing jump rope, man, looking like Rocky, getting ready for Rocky.
wow,
She was doing like a little. I said, look at you, Pastor Mary, getting in, you know. So it's funny
wow.
that you say that, but you right, man. They probably getting it in too, man. After work, man. It's a Friday, happy hour, getting ready, whatever it may be, baby. Yeah, Canes Nation, Wayne. You know it. You know it.
You know, it's so interesting because maybe that was one of the really good results that came out of COVID was people got back outside, tried to get some exercising in, and I know when I tried to buy a bike, I gotta wait till October, November to get one because
Oh yeah.
all of them gone.
Yeah. You know what? I was blessed to get me one, man. I ended up getting me one. That's so true, man. Then we go to Walmart. You know it's bad when Walmart don't have it. You know what I'm
Empty.
saying?
I'd have stopped. I say,
But you
man,
know, we was able to find some. We especially over here in Columbus, and then we went to Walmart. Man, we got some. I got about 2 or 3 of bikes, man. So it's good. Then I ended up getting a trek bike, man. So that's been good.
uh
So
huh.
every day, man, we're on the road, man. We hitting those trails, man. I love it, man. But you're right
Man,
though, it's a shortage of bikes, man.
I know, and it's so crazy, man. A lot been going on, and we done got a pop
Hey,
up,
Lee,
man. I don't know who is that on our screen,
what
man.
happened, man?
I think that's Coach, man.
Go to who coach?
Hey,
Coach
so
Rivers?
listen, what we did was, I'm down here in the old man. I'm in Orlando. I'm right here at the bubble. And what I did was I got a camera, snuck a camera in there, sideline to baseline, doing what we do. We snuck a camera in there. We gonna figure it out. We gonna try to see who what was being said after that game, man. Cause I know it had to be something good, MB. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, what could he have been talking about? So we snuck in there with the camera and got Coach Doc Rivers, and we want to share with y'all what was said.
I already know I'm fine. Trust me, I know. But before I go, I just want to get this off my chest. That shit was not my fault. Y'all are trash. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Y'all are trash. Like, y'all are so trash. I want you to know that I'm talking to you. So I'm going to say your name. Then I'm going to call you trash. Kawhi Leonard,
Oh man,
you trash. Patrick Beverly, you trash. Paul George, Paul George, listen to me when I say this. You are trash. Now, I deserve to be fired. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disagreeing with the decision they about to make because I left you out there for 38 minutes. You wasn't doing shit. I've seen it all 38 minutes. Kawhi Leonard, if I see your name on another top 10 list, I'm going to kill somebody. I better not hear your name compared to LeBron again, or I'm going to kill somebody. I don't want nobody saying Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James in the same sentence, not in the same paragraph, not in the same essay, unless trash comes after Kawhi Leonard's name.
and I think that's enough, man. I think that's enough of how Doc went in on there because I think a lot of people came after Doc, man, and he took it on the chin. He said, "Yes, it's my fault, MB." He
Yeah.
admitted wrongdoing. But Doc let him know after the game, all y'all trash. Hey, in the video, we gonna stop it right there because it got way more ugly. Doc went way in too deep. He called out Lemon Pepper Lou too. He called out your boy LB. He let him know he was trash. So it's just, hey, when I saw that, man, I had to share it with y'all. I knew it would be something y'all would enjoy. Everybody trash, you know. Hey, Earl say you wrong for that. Hey, y'all already know I'm a Laker around here, man. I told y'all what time it was. They wasn't gonna make it. They was overrated. And that's what happened. Them Nuggets, like I told y'all, was gonna get it in. And that's the and if you remember, MB, I told you in the beginning of this when we made our first picks. I said, who did I tell you? I say, man, I'm scared of those guys in the future. Them Denver Nuggets. That's what I'm looking for next year. The year after that, man, we got to recoup. We got to get us 2 or 3 more studs, more superstars.
Right. No doubt, no doubt. First of all, we want to apologize for the cursing. He was trying to mute.
Yeah, I was trying.
But it slipped down. But the thing is, like what he's talking about, man, is basically who to blame, man. You're right. I chose the Clippers. Matter of fact, my record was perfect, man, for our series, and then the Clippers, I got an L because I didn't want to jump off the bandwagon, right? And when you look at what happened, you're like, man, who's to blame? You're talking about 3 consecutive games, right, where they got a double-digit lead and you lose,
right?
You're 3-1. I mean, you got you're about to just complete dominate them, and you about to close it out. And you got Kawhi Leonard, you got playoff Pete, you got lemon pepper wings, you got a team that before Kawhi or PG came, I mean, they was battling Golden State, a healthy Golden State with the healthy Kevin Durant, and then all of a sudden they fall apart. Everybody, I mean, I drank the Kool-Aid. I was like, man, I was going for the Lakers to win it all, but I was like, man, they're definitely going to get to the finals and give the Lakers a run. But, man, they choked, man. What's the blame? You talk to Lemon Pepper Lou, right? He's talking about the chemistry, right? They talking about the chemistry. I think out of the entire season, they probably had the whole roster together 18 times. You talk about playoff Pete. He struggled a lot. You talk about even Doc Rivers say, blame me. It all started with me. I'm the HNIC, right? You blaming on the bench. The bench didn't show up. We already mentioned Lemon Pepper Lou, or is it just the Nuggets? And it's like one of those SET questions where it's all the above. The Nuggets came ready to play like K-Lou talked about. We was talking about how they built to last, that they're going to be a problem for the Lakers, but we didn't think it'll be right now, especially it was on life support when the Jazz beat them. They was down 3-1. They came back. The coach was calling them soft before that, but they grew up fast, man. Yeah. And, I mean, they got a lot to do with it. Kawhi and PG, I think the second half, if I'm not mistaken, K-Lou, right, the Clippers got outscored 181 to 117 in the second half. The Clippers average only 45 points the second half and shot 39%, man. And when you get arrested, and then Kawhi, man, because he was carrying that team. You carried him through in Dallas. He took a bad time, it was a bad moment for him to have a bad couple games, man. He kind of disappeared, and a lot of dudes on the milk cart. So when you talking about who to blame, I'm blaming them all. We need to line all of them up, man, and because they all choke, and they're obviously not taking it away from the Nuggets. The Nuggets came ready to play, man.
Well, I mean, you right again, man, and I'm just reminded by something else. I don't know. We gonna go crazy today because this is how I feel about the Clippers.
The Bears are what we thought they were.
Yeah, that's what the Clippers. He mean the Clippers.
We played them in preseason. Who the hell takes a third game in the preseason like it's bull? We played them in the third game. Everybody played 3 quarters.
That's right.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
That's right.
That's what we took the damn field. Now, you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
Hey, listen.
But they are who we thought they were.
Listen.
And we let them off the hook.
That's what happened, man. I tried to. They were who we thought they were.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. They teased us. You know, I think they call them out in LA the choker Clippers or something. I was reading.
So again, MB, and this is the
Clippers. Yeah.
You know, I'm a Laker, so I always have to preface that. But I said to you when we were talking about the Clippers, you like, what? How you think they gonna get beat? They ain't gonna make it to the Lakers. They gonna make it to the Lakers. I said, MB, we forget that chemistry, camaraderie, togetherness, all that stuff matters. And the fact and the same excuse that they using now, I used back then. I said, man, I think these guys only played 15 or 20 games together. And I heard it was
19 times.
But remember, I said that back then when we were making our picks. I said that's a lot. And then my final answer was the Heat didn't win it the first time. And they were better than them.
No doubt.
And
they played together. But you know what, K-Lou? It and you're right. Chemistry was, that's why I say it's all above. It was chemistry. It was the bench not showing up. Obviously, man, I don't want to make light of it. A lot of guys on that bench. I mean, they had to deal with some heavy heart. Patrick Beverly, Lemon Pepper Lou, and Harold all lost somebody during that time. Then you had a couple dudes, Zubac and another dude that tested positive for the coronavirus, so they didn't join late. But listen, but you know what? What's it? You talk about the Lakers, right? And the Lakers, K-Lou, deal with the same similar issues. They added guys late to the equation. They had some guys kind of hurt, but you know what? The difference is the leadership, man, of LeBron and AD. They had 6 or 7 new guys on the roster. They added some guys late, right? But it's the leadership of Bron and AD that you got to give the credit to. You got that's the problem. Because when you look at Kawhi, he's definitely not a vocal leader. He's definitely, and you gotta have a strong leader. He's not a leader.
Let's quit playing with it. There's zero alphas.
Yes.
Zero alpha. And I know we're about to go to another game where that same word I just used, alpha, is gonna come into play when we talk about them Celtics. Same situation.
Right.
No alpha.
Well,
listen, if you missing an alpha, listen, this is everybody wants to make you an alpha just because you can play.
Right.
Or just because you can score. That's not an alpha.
Right.
Draymond Green is an alpha, and he might be the worst dude on his team.
Right.
And he's an alpha.
Right.
Like that, it doesn't mean that you a player.
Exactly.
That's different. And so if you look, you keep pointing to the end of the games, the fourth quarters, the second halves, right? MB, let's get into a Miami locker room. Let's go in your high school locker room. Let's go in your little league locker room. There was on all your championship teams and NFL locker room as well. I'm willing to put money on it, and I don't even gamble, y'all, that there was somebody in that locker room, if it wasn't you yourself, that jumped up and had something to say that was on your team, not a coach. On your championship teams, it was always maybe 1, 2, even possibly if you was lucky, you had 3, 4, 5 guys that jumped up and say, I ain't going out like this.
Right.
This ain't gonna happen on my watch.
Right.
Which one of those guys gonna say that?
Well, here's the thing.
They weren't built for that.
Here's the thing. I thought from my outside looking in, Harold, right? Try to be that guy. Listen to me. Because he said it early in the season in January. He called them out. He said, we're not a team. We're not a good team right now. And he said it publicly.
Yeah.
Right? And then they responded, right? But the thing is, it has to come from your best player. Your best players got to be your alpha, right?
It's great. I don't agree with that. It's great if it is, but you just made a statement. You said Montrez tried to, and you said he did it in the media. That ain't no alpha.
No,
and you know it ain't.
But listen, if he's
you know it ain't. That ain't no alpha.
No, but listen to me. I'm not in the locker room. I'm assuming if he's doing it in the media, right? I tell you what, he is, because he called them out. Game 2 of the series, he called PG out. It's like, man, what are you doing? PG made a bad pass, right? And he called him out. He said, I was just reading this today. He said, man, you always making excuses. You always got something. He was calling them out. But the thing is, a guy like that who's not a star player, hear me out, K-Lou, you got to give that guy some power, right? The head coach got to back him up. I don't know if Doc's backing him up. I don't know Doc's coaching style, but if you ain't the key player, star player, and you holding those guys accountable, i.e. like Bruce Arians, right, calling Tom Brady out with
I
his
just
plan.
gave you one, Draymond Green. I just gave you one.
Yeah, but Draymond Green, though, he's
not
alpha, even though he's not, but he's one of the star players as well.
He's not a star player. Like,
you gotta have power, K-Luke, come on now. Hey, K-Luke, I've been on a lot of teams. You've been on a lot of teams.
Hey,
we're New York Giants. Dude ain't making no plays.
Triple single.
To listen to him. The best player is, if you're not one of the best players, you got to have the support from your head coach. You name me a team, right, that the best player, the guy who's not the best player, who's a leader and don't have the support from the head coach.
I don't even want to go into those weeds.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, you gotta have, if you're not one of the best players, right? Draymond Green is an all-star. That's why he has a voice. He's an all-star.
He's not really an all-star.
He's inserted himself. Harold, I'm not saying Harold's Draymond Green, but
MB.
But the two best players, if they ain't coming from PG,
good player on a great team.
You said what?
He has all-star trophies, but he's a good player on a great team, which puts him into the all-star. If you compare his numbers to the guy you talking about right now, his best year, Draymond Green's best year is not better than Montrezl Harrell. And
come on, no way, Caleb.
His best year was 15, 8, and 6, MB.
Come on, Draymond Green, Wait. Harold does not compare to Draymond Green.
Okay,
not at all. Harold just won the 6-man award.
If I just gave you the numbers 15, 8, and 6, where do you think I got that from? You think I just made this up? That was his best year.
Who?
Draymond Green, 15, 8, and 6.
Bro, but Draymond Green getting triple-double. Draymond Green getting it. You can't compare. What's Harold's best numbers? Tell me Harold's best numbers.
He averaged 20 this year.
He's a 6-man. 1 year.
He averaged 20.
1 year. That's not Draymond Green. Also, Draymond upset defense candidate of the year. Draymond get it done.
Montrezl is too.
Draymond, Harold Montrezl, you just heard him this year or last 2 years.
I'm gonna leave that alone. Tell
me his career stats.
You
tell me Montez's career stats. You just read me Draymond's career stats. Tell me Montrezl's career stats.
I didn't give
Montrezl's career stats.
I didn't give you.
Don't give me just 1 year. Give me his career stats.
Wait. I just gave you Draymond's best year, and then 15, 8, and 6 is his best year. Montrezl Harrell's averaged 20 this year.
But what's the rebounds? What's the rebounds? What's the assists?
I didn't look them up.
Rebounds,
I just know he averaged 20 this year.
Right, but Draymond game is so you talking about 20 points, that don't mean nothing.
Okay, MB.
But you talking about Draymond Green having 15 points, 86.
Okay.
And Draymond's up for defensive candidate of the year. You can't compare those two guys. If you had a drop between a young Draymond Green and you take both of them in a row.
My point, MB. My point was the best player is not the alpha on their on another team and a championship team. That was my whole point. And I think that's easily proven. That's all I'm saying. And you're going to another
no,
issue. He's that. I'm just saying the best player was not the alpha.
But you missed my point. I said if you're not the best player and you're an alpha, you have to get the support from the head coach. And that's what Draymond has. Draymond got the support from the head coach and the other players. They lean to Draymond. But with the Clippers, it seemed like they're divided. You got Lou Pepper doing his thing. You got what's his name doing his thing. Nobody's bringing those dudes together. You have to, if you're not one of the best players on the team, you have to empower. The head coach has to empower those guys. I'm telling you. Point. You name me a situation where the head coach is not power. The head coach he let Draymond Green, he empower him. Draymond Green is the police dog on that team, even though he's not the best player, because the head coach, when there's an issue, he looked at Draymond. Draymond handled it. I'm saying Doc Rivers needs to empower Harold. I don't know if he is, but it seems like he's not. That's all I'm saying. You're missing that point.
All right, moving forward, LA, the Clippers, MB team. Hey, MB's team, the Clippers, didn't make it to beat my LA. Didn't make it.
I was going for him.
Didn't make it to meet my Lakers.
No, I was. Hey, listen, I said the Lakers gonna win. I thought they'll play the Clippers. Now you try to put words in my mouth. Go ahead.
So the LA Lakers are not playing the Denver Nuggets, a team that I really felt is the team of just not even right now, but the team of the future. And when you look at that matchup, I think it's an easy matchup for the Lakers. I think it's exactly the game that we needed, the game that we're looking for. We're gonna go right back to our bully ball. We got JaVale McGee back in the game, and Dwight Howard back in the game.
Yeah.
JaVale can guard. He's super athletic. He can guard Jokic. And when Jokic get out the game and Miles Plumlee come in, that's a great matchup for Dwight Howard. He's a guy that doesn't shoot the 3 ball. He hangs around the rim. He's not really involved in the offense very much, and I think that just bodes well for us. And then in the fourth quarter, watch we go small and put AD at the 5. Yeah, that's us going small, putting 6'11" at the 5, baby. That's what we gonna do. And then we gonna run them up out the gym. I like this matchup, man. I think I'm really proud of Denver and what they were able to do, making it this far. But they won their consolation. They won their championship. And I think all of us probably saw them celebrate after the game. And I think that's enough for them. We're going to sweep them up under the rug.
Yeah, and I echo your same sentiments. LA was my prediction to win. So don't make me a Clipper fan just because of that. Don't get it twisted. LA, and this the thing, like you said, the only thing that concerned me is LA based on the past 2 series with Portland and with the Rockets. They always gave game one. So far, they gave game 1 away. So I don't know if one of those things like let them go ahead and do that, let them spot on one and do it, or let the Lakers just go take care of business. But you're right. And the way they take care of business is no different. You talked about Dwight Howard. You talked about McGee. They won it. They played Denver 3-1 in the regular season. 4 times they got on top of them 3-1. Joker was basically averaged 16.3 points against those 2 guys. Lakers got bigger bodies to throw at the Joker. All right, they got a different team. Like Lakers take pride in playing defense, right? That's their mindset. And then the thing that showed up the most during these playoffs, man, was the bench, man. The Lakers role players, their bench, playoff Rondé, right? The guys coming Kuzma. You know, Kuzma went from being a streaky shooter to now like he take pride in guarding the top scorers on the wing. I mean, they just playing great ball, and their benches developed so much. And guys, Morris, guys who were late additions finding their way in, man. The Lakers are hitting on all cylinders. And then I ain't even talking about their big 2, man. When you talk about AD, he's averaging 27.6 points a game, 10.9 rebounds, right? Shooting over 50% from inside the paint and 3-point, close to 40% 3-point. And then you got Bron doing his thing. He's averaging just 1 point less with 26.6, 55% field goal range, a little less than 37-point 3-point, but 10.3 rebounds and 8.8 assists. Man, when Bron and AD get going and you got the bench or the role players stepping up doing their thing, man, I don't see how Denver can hold up. At best, they'll get 1 just because of the fight they shown. And then, but the thing that Lakers did so well that they did against Rockets is, like you mentioned earlier, they score a lot of points in the paint. And right now, I think the Lakers are averaging maybe 5 more than the closest person in the paint. and Denver's one of the worst defenders in the paint. They don't have a natural rim protector. So I just see, man, AD, I see LeBron, man, they're a problem, man. And I see them being a problem for the Denver Nuggets, man. The Lakers got it, man. I think at best it goes 5 games, bro.
Well, this is the time where we need our stat boy, MB, because you made me do my homework while you was talking. And Montrezl Harrell career, you asked. So he's at basically 13, 5, and 1. All right. And of course Draymond killing that, right?
Yeah.
Triple single. 9, 7, and 5. Triple single. 9, 7, and 5. Triple single.
What's triple single? Oh, triple single. You say that?
Yeah. You call him a triple double, man. I just wanted to let you know he'll triple single. So I know it's surprising.
Hold on.
I'm not. Hey, letting you know you asked for what the numbers was, and that's all I'm giving you.
Hey,
that's what you asked for. So that's all I'm doing. I'm not going any further than that. I'm answering your question.
Dig deeper into those numbers, though.
Giannis wins the MVP, MB. Giannis wins the MVP. How do you feel
you can't try to throw a shot and run. You know how you can make numbers say what you want.
I didn't throw a shot. You asked those questions. You said, what are they? What's the total stuff? So I gave it to you. This your question. You asked that question. That's why I said we needed a stat guy, stat boy. You know what you said. And that's why. So, Giannis wins the MVP. I don't think anyone cares. I think it's played out now with Giannis winning the MVP, and that's crazy to say about such a distinguished award like that. But not Paul George, but Kawhi Leonard sat out the whole season. So that's how much NBA players care about the regular season. So this regular season award got him the best record and the first exit out of the playoffs, first round knockout. So, I think that's how much the MVP means for him. Maybe it means something different if AD would have won it, if LeBron would have won it, heck, if Joker would have won it, maybe Jimmy Butler would have won it. Maybe it brings back the credibility of it. But with a guy like that winning it, getting upset last year, not finishing the deal, getting really just humiliated this year, not finishing the deal, I think it fell on deaf ears.
Well, all right. Well, the Greek, to me, it was just a 2-man race between him, and you could argue a 3-man race with Harden, but LeBron and him. So obviously with him, one correction, they didn't get knocked out in the first round. They made it to the semifinal. Then the Heat, they beat you, right? But they beat. Me, this guy, to me, he did it. It's either between him and LeBron. I'll weigh more to LeBron based on his career numbers and what he put together, his body of work. But before this whole restart thing, the Greek freak, man, he came ready to play. And he had his numbers show that he had the highest ever when you talk about the PER rating, right? It was 31.9. It's the highest ever in NBA history. And basically all that is just a fancy number for player efficient rating, And so he had the highs and he did what right. So, I can see him winning. He's only one of 3 players to win the NBA VP, most valuable player and defensive player all in the same year, joining Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon. So I can see it. I can see why. But like you said, it's 2 different wars. For regular season, yeah. But playoffs is just a different animal. It's just a different animal. But hey, I'm going to my Draymond Green. That's why I say you got to look at numbers. K-Lou.
Whatever you say, MB.
From 2014 to 2017, point average. And you look at a team, he ain't asked to score. He's like a poor man Joker on offense in the sense the offense run through him a lot of times. But he's got here basically his average during that time frame. He averaged double figure. He averaged close to 8 points, 8 average a rebound, and 7 averaged over 7 assists during that time frame, and he's not asked to score. And you talking about you got the Splash Brothers and you got Kevin KD, and he still got those type of numbers, and they playing that type of ball. And defensively, he's a beast. Hey, you got to look at the numbers. You got to dig deeper, baby.
NFL was played last night. Cincinnati versus Cleveland Browns. I'll let the people decide for themselves. But I just answered the question. You acted like I was coming back with something. That was the question. That was answering the question you asked. And then you're arguing with yourself. Just know that, because I never wanted to get no numbers. You threw that out there. NFL Thursday game night. Thursday game results, man. Cincinnati and Cleveland. Listen, it's amazing to me how you hearing and reading all the banter about Baker Mayfield, Joe Burrows, and do we realize this was the toilet bowl that was just played last night, man? Like, neither team is good, and yet it's banner all day about, Baker Mayfield, who I messed up. I thought I saw something come across the screen that said 4 in it. It was 2. It was 2 something. Baker Mayfield throws for 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick. And Burrow actually outplayed him, 316 yards, 3 touchdowns. However, he threw 60 passes, over 60 attempts. So, I mean, you expect him to have some success. I just think it was a horrible game because you got 2 really bad teams playing it.
Well, for me, I look at it a little different. I don't agree with your assessment. I think it's definitely two train of thoughts, right? I definitely agree with the assessment as far as being the toilet bowl right now in that regards, right? But let's take the Browns. The Browns, to me, will be equivalent to the Clippers. They got all the talent in the world, but they're not playing as a team, and they're lacking leadership on that team. They're lacking pure leadership, right? You empower right now Baker Mayfield. He's up and down, inconsistent leader, and attitude reflect leadership. All right. And to me right now, the Browns issue is leadership. I don't know enough about their head coach, but from the player, on a football standpoint, they got to have great leadership.
Hey, which one? They switching coaches every 2 minutes.
I know. I mean, the guy they got now from Minnesota, Kevin. I mean, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know enough about him, so the judgment is still. I still need more information about him. But I'm talking about leadership with the Browns. They remind me of the Clippers, man.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. They lacking leadership from the player standpoint. They got all the talent, just like the Clippers. But the leadership, they're not bringing together, and you talk about team chemistry and whatnot. They got so much talent. They got Chubb, they got Kareem Hunt, they got Odell Beckham, they got Landry, they got offensive line, they got a highest paid tight end. Defensively, they got Myles Garrett. I mean, defensively, they obviously the secondary stuff like that, but they got the talent to be a really good team, but they just got to put it together. Now, Cincinnati, on the other hand, is totally opposite. They depleted with talent. Matter of fact, one of the best defensive player, Atkins, did not play. He's still out, and it showed. I mean, they couldn't stop the run when Cleveland was running the ball. They couldn't stop the run. Those guys, Chubb had 22 carries for 124 yards, averaged 5.6, 2 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt had 10 carries for 86 yards for an average of 8.6 and had 1 touchdown. So it was a complete game. I mean, the Browns had 434 total yards. And K-Lou, man, looking at the Bengals defense, I was like, man, I feel like Jim Brown. I was like, man, I can play for them. Good Lord, They was out there point shaving, man. They couldn't stop anybody, man. They couldn't play dead in the Cowboy movie, man. So to me, defensively, man, they're hurting. They need some players. And what I'm concerned about is Cincinnati being notorious for being a cheap team. So I just don't – I mean, Burrow, I hate for them to waste his ability. That kid, man, I mean, he does some special things. Offensively, I love the scheme that they're running because he makes the right read majority of the time. Obviously, he's going to have a couple brain farts, a rookie moment. but he gets the ball out of his hand. But you got to surround around some playmakers. And then AJ Green, man, I hope this is not a sign that he's on a decline. He was on a milk carton. I think he had only like 3 receptions, right? And he didn't have for 29 yards, but he was targeted 13 times. So they need some playmakers around him more than Joe Milton. I mean, they need an offensive line. They got to protect the franchise. I was listening at my boy. I think my boy said, man, you talk about red shirt, they should red shirt him, not because he can't play. They should red shirt him till they get some better players around him so they can protect the franchise, man. That's my thoughts on that, you know?
Yeah, that sounds good, but that ain't the way the NFL work, and that's especially what the Bengals have never showed us, the ability to go out and do what's right to help their team get better. And then you fire a coach in Marvin Lewis that made you credible,
right?
Made you matter. And so now he's gone, and guess what? No one cares. You make a big splash. Why? Because you get the number 1 pick in the draft and Joe Burrow. You draft him, but who cares? Because now he just has to sit there and get beat up. Because I think they counted the hits, and he's taking the most hits.
Yeah,
the first 2 games. So that's his career.
Yeah.
So we'll see moving forward. So we got some game of the weeks here, man. So I know what your game is. I'm gonna throw mine out there because yours may even be a little bit better. I'm gonna throw out there the Ravens and the Texans. Now, man, the only reason why the Texans, I'm gonna tell you, MB's pick is probably better is because the Texans, he just talking about depleted talent. Well, the Texans have depleted talent, especially on the offensive end. However, Deshaun Watson is a baller, and listen, you should watch him anytime he puts on his shoulder pads and helmet. So he's gonna make it interesting. On the other end, man, you got a complete team in the Baltimore Ravens, and the way they played last week, the focus there is completely on another level, guys. When you watch this team, I'm telling you guys, they're playoff mode already because they are really upset. They really are playing with a chip on their shoulder because they really feel like that should have been them playing for the Lombardi Trophy, and that's all you gonna get from them every single week. And if you look at their star, Lamar Jackson, watch his demeanor, man, on and off the field. He is serious. He is laser focused. And I think they're going to be rewarded because of it.
Yeah, no doubt. And I totally agree, man. And they said arguably he probably had one of his best games last year, last week. And it didn't show up statistically, right? But just the way he played was just unbelievable. And you're right. He's got a bad taste in his mouth. I love the way this guy compete. When he was at Louisville, ACC from down Florida, boy, man. And he's not intoxicated by his previous success. It's almost like, man, he's like, okay, let me put the MVP trophy on the side. We got to take care of some business. And this guy, man, he's got a chip on his shoulder, man. And that's what I love about this dude. And like I said, that power move that they made, getting rid of Earl Thomas, it emphasized when you talk about leadership, right? Wherever the leadership came from, you see that one thing they're not lacking from a player standpoint is leaders. And they got some leaders on there, whereas a big team and little me, and those guys are playing all hands on deck. And to me, Harbaugh he's a great coach. He's a player coach. He understands how to put his guys in a position to get it done. And you're right, it's a great game, man. 2 young black quarterbacks getting it done. Both of those guys are definitely worth the price of admission to see those guys play with the Houston Texans, like you alluded to earlier, man. Just the fact you get rid of a generational talent of the DeAndre Hopkins, I'm just concerned with that they don't have enough firepower, right. To handle the Ravens, man, and to stop what Lamar Jackson and them are laser focused to get done. So my pick for that game is obviously sound like we're on the same page. Is the Ravens, man.
Baltimore. Yeah, but I just, man, listen, man, Deshaun gonna fight, man. So don't think they just gonna go in there and 30-point them like they did last week. This gonna be a fight.
Yeah, but he needs some help.
Yeah,
he needs to get those guys healthy. He's got Fuller, he's got Cook. He's got to get those guys. They got to get going, man. They got to play like the old self to help them out.
Now your pick was New England, Seattle. So talk to
Yeah,
us about that.
yeah. You know, you got New England, Seattle, man. Obviously, man, those teams got history together, starting with the head coaches that are two oldest coaches in the league, 69 and 68. They're playing in Seattle, all right, but unfortunately, from the Seattle fans, the 12th man is not involved. It's hard to win in Seattle just because of the crowd noise. You know, one of the loudest stadiums, in the NFL,
Right.
and Pete Carroll been there. Man, they've been definitely home field advantage is definitely real. So I guess just the travel time heading out west with New England. But to me, when you look at the matchups, both of these teams are familiar with one another. It's similar to one of those Ali and Frazier or Ali and George Foreman type fights where they both know each other well and they both know how to attack each other. The difference is obviously with New England, right? Because they're dishing no more Tom Brady, you got Cam. Now they're doing a great job, and with New England, they're going to do two things. They're going to find out what their players do well and put that in, and then they're going to find out what the weaknesses are of the teams they're facing, and they're going to attack that. Now, here's the thing. Based on what New England does well and based on Seattle defensive weakness, I put the edge to Seattle defense because here's what's going to happen. Running game wise, right now, Seattle's built to stop the run. They're committed on stopping the run. They play predominantly one-eye coverage 90% of the time. So what that means, they're stacking the box to stop that run. And because they're familiarity with Cam and how to stop the plays, the quarterback design run play, man, Seattle got a great package to stop that. So with that said, right, Seattle natural game plan. They don't do a lot on defense, but they're going to force Cam to beat him with the pass. And I don't think Cam is there yet. He's not there yet where he could just sit back in the pocket and pick you off because other than Elderman, their skill set receivers, those guys got to grow up and they don't have enough firepower with Cam to help them out. Now, defensively, I'm love to see that matchup. Seattle got to get back. I mean, last week they did what they had to do to win the game. Russell had an outstanding game. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And so what I see Seattle doing is getting back to what they do well is start running the ball. Right now, they trying to take the leash off Russell, but New England's strong point is their pass defense. And those guys on the back end, man, had 3 interceptions last week versus the Dolphins. And I know we're talking about the Dolphins, but Belichick does a great he always scheme Seattle well, where I can see them like keeping Russell in the pocket, playing 8 drop defense on the back end, cover 2, taking away the receiver, playing massaging in some man coverage and whatnot, have a spy on Seattle. So for Seattle, it's important for them to get back to their bread and butter and establish the run. And once they establish the run, I think they'll be able to move the ball in between their defense and their offense. So I'm going with Seattle to go ahead and win the game, but it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great game as well. I do think I agree with you. The better team is Seattle, but I would put them on a bit of a upset alert only because Cam has a different swag about him. He reminds me of his one and only year at Auburn.
Year?
At Auburn.
Well, what happened to the MVP? You said one and only year. What about the MVP?
He's back to 75 yards for a quarterback on 15 carries. Those are real numbers now. Now they're, like MB said, quarterback designed runs. So now he's back in the offense. I haven't seen him involved in the offense on this level since he was back in college getting 15 real carries a game. And I think he puts back into play the run pass option. And we've seen Cam sit back there, like you just said, when his MVP year and throw that thing down the field, throw that thing, strikes all the way down the field. Now, though, you actually have to, like MB just stated, the best thing that Seattle does is stop the run. But this is a different stop the run. This is a quarterback play run that now you're not just wrinkles where you know it's going to happen 5-6 times a game. You just saw 15 carries, and MB knows that's a different game prep. than 5 or 6 plays. 15, that's a real running back. And now you got to run those plays and you got to account for those plays. And out of most of those plays, I guarantee you now, you see the RPOs all the time. Now he's going to have a pass option in that. I think he's going to create the new dual threat because he's a downhill dual threat, unlike the rest of the dual threats. The only thing that scares me, man, is how long can that last, MB? So I'm high on it right now. In 2 more weeks, I'm going to be low on it.
Yeah. And you know what, you're right. But I think Cam, when you look at his numbers, right, his MVP numbers, right, in 2015, I mean, he threw for close to 4,000 yards, right, and 35 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, right, quarterback rating of 99.4, right, and then also rushing wise, right, and this will come out. He rushed for 636 yards, right, 4.8 yards a carry, right. And so what I'm saying is that Seattle, like the Cam that I saw against the Dolphins, is the Cam that I'm used to seeing when we was at Seattle and we played Carolina every year. Mm-hmm. And that's the Cam you saw with those those same running plays, is the same running plays that we saw when we was defensively trying to stop them. And so that's what I'm making reference to. So I saw him be effective with that, but I love our package, Seattle package to stop those runs. And I don't see it being a problem as it was for the Dolphins, right? I see Seattle having a better fit for it. And I see right now, just like I see what New England going to try to do to Russell, right? Is keep him in the pocket, play man, force Seattle receivers to beat them, and they'll double Tyler Lockett, they'll double some guys and whatnot, keep Russell in the pocket. I see Seattle naturally saying, Cam, you got to show us you're fully back, and we're going to stop you from beating us with your legs, but you got to show us you could beat us in the air, you know? And that's my whole point I was trying to make, you know? So
other games that are being played, man, MB has a spoiler alert. He has a spoiler alert for y'all. And hey, y'all know I just adopted the Cowboys this year. I had to because I gave them. I think they going to the Super Bowl, so I had to adopt them. I laid it on the line for them. Now I think KC repeats. However, I got to go with Dallas because they got to start getting some momentum from somewhere.
Man, hey, I need JC here so we can check your temperature, man. We got to check your temperature, make sure you're all right, man. But yeah, I mean, my spoiler alert. But K-Luke, I'm a backpedal on it now, man. I did. You know what? Because I really want to come back to it. I'm gonna tell you
why too. I already know why.
Why? I'm gonna tell you why.
Because preseason when we talked about this team, and I told you that, listen, I'm tired of y'all telling me this guy great and he not winning. And you started talking about him. Yeah. And that somebody is Matt Ryan. And what your excuse was, he don't have the talent. He has Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley.
No. I ain't say he had no. I'm talking about team-wise. Defensively, I said because they had a lot of injuries. No, he's got the skill position. He's got Julio Jones, Matty Ice. No, I'm not backpedaling because of Matty Ice. You know what?
Okay.
Matty Ice threw for 450 yards last week, man. Against Seattle Seahawks.
And what happened? What happened?
They lost. But here's why I'm backpedaling. Here's why I'm backpedaling, because Atlanta Falcons defense is a concern. That's what my concern is, because I'm thinking it's going to be a shootout between Atlanta Falcons and Matty Ice going to get it done. All right, because Dallas kryptonite is their defense. Their secondary got holes in it. So it's going to be a shootout. When you talk about high-scoring game, it's almost going to be whoever have the last possession is going to win the game. The thing that initially I was like, you know what, man, I give it Atlanta Falcons. I was talking about spoiler alert. The only thing that's going to save them, right, for me is Ezekiel Elliott, because of Atlanta Falcons defense, right? And if they get, man, Ezekiel Elliott is going to be the difference maker in that game because of what he brings to the table with the running game. It's going to prevent some problems for Atlanta because Atlanta right now, they don't have the defense to stop Dallas. And that's my concern. That's why I'm kind of wavering because I thought about Ezekiel Elliott. But Matty Ice put that thing on Seattle. Okay. 450 yards last week.
Phillip Rivers used to do the same thing in San Diego. And that used to happen. Hey,
speaking of Phillip Rivers with who the coach played, I mean, that's the one that let me down because Phillip Rivers became the old Phillip Rivers because he kept throwing some interceptions. They took that L last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? And that was my concern. Now that's who let me down because right now he's got to do a better job of taking care of the ball. Because to me, I thought because the Chargers, when he was with the Chargers, they struggled protecting him on the offensive line. And I'm thinking, okay, Indianapolis coach, they got a better offensive line that he'll make better decisions. But to me, when him throwing interception, man, seemed like he's still gunshots. Seemed like he's still feeling the effect of when he was at the Chargers and he right. No protection. So that's the one I'm concerned about.
Hey, it's like coaching at high school. Coach, they coming from everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you look at LB and you like, man, ain't nobody around that boy. They coming from everywhere, coach.
Right. And then he's facing the Minnesota Vikings. So you know Minnesota Vikings with Zimmerman being the head coach and defensive coordinator calling plays. You know they coming at him. They coming at him. So I see that taking an L. Well, that's the one that got me.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Ezekiel Elliott. I think you must have probably got scared after he showed you his stomach and you saw
feed me, baby.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So I think that might have been an issue. Man, so listen, the Big Ten said, and they parents, right? They said, listen, man, we don't care what Kevin Warren talking about out here, man. We playing. So somehow the schools voted, and now their season is starting in October. I think this is a travesty. I think Kevin Warren might as well, whatever's left on his deal, go and tell them, hey, man, let me get the rest of my money and let me walk away gracefully, because he no longer has a voice as the commissioner of the Big Ten. They completely took it away from him, and I'm upset about that.
Well, I don't think he ever had a voice because he didn't make the final say. He didn't have the final power. It was he's the what you call it? He's the guy, he's the messenger, and they killing the messenger because the president are the ones that voted on it, and based on the vote of the president, that's what happened. So he ended up being the target, right, for what's going on, right? Because he never had no power, K-Lou. It was the presidents of the university, the chancellors, and the presidents decided, to do da-da-da-da. And then one of the things they brought it on with one of the things that he kind of voiced was that they didn't have the rapid testing in place, right? And so right now, you're right. He right now looking like the fall guy, and everybody blaming on him because soon as the decision came out, they was like, wait a minute, how can you cancel our thing, but then your son is able to play?
That ain't his conference, though. So that ain't his conference.
He's becoming the fall guy, That's what he's becoming. But truth be told, he never had no power. All he's doing is just echoing what the other people saying. He like the NCAA. He ain't got no power. He just echoing, and then he becomes the poster child.
I'm not buying that because aren't those same people the ones who voted again, allegedly? Or is it a different group that voted this time? So watch this. Well, watch this. So is the different group with the power if that's what happened?
No, I'm just saying, no, the power to be now, they change. Now that because of the pressure they feeling now the president, the same people voted no now because now they said, oh, we got some new medical information that we got. Now they saying they got the ability to do the rapid testing. So now they were saying that was the big kryptonite because that's the thing he said initially was because we don't have enough whatever in place to do the rapid testing to protect the players and blah, 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 right? So then now that's when the president now, he's like patting himself on the back because he's thinking, okay, I talked to them and hey, I'm able to help them, so now it's become a little political as well. But the biggest issue from what I was understanding was the rapid testing. So now, K-Lou, what they're saying now, if I'm not mistaken, if you test positive, you're going to have to sit out for 21 days. They went from 14 to
That's
21. And then they said that no team can have more than a 5% positivity rate. So
or they shut it down.
Huh? Yeah, or they're going to shut it down, right? So, and then you got to have a certain amount of teams. So they're coming back, but they're coming back with some stricter rules in place, right? To try to offset whatever they're offsetting. But to me, like what you said with that guy, to me, he's just a fall guy now that's in place,
Well, along with the Big Ten coming back, the Pac-12 said, well, guess what? We want to come back too.
Yeah.
So now there are discussions to probably have a Halloween, October 31st restart. So I know you mentioned something earlier about this. MB.
Yeah. Well, you and I was talking earlier, and these guys kind of join at the hips, usually whatever. Because you look at what happened when they decided to cancel the season, right? That the Pac-12 came first, right? And then the Big Ten followed suit, even though just a week before they announced their schedule, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it's got to do with the natural connection between the Rose Bowl or whatnot. But when you look at the experts and all that, they were saying it's always, well, monkey see, monkey do, right? When one of them do that, the other one. And no different now with the restart, right? Now the Big Ten took the lead, and now the Pac-12 saying, you know what, we're looking to do that as well. Unfortunately, they're dealing with some serious issue with the fires and stuff that's going out there. But you look at it, K-Lou, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, the the Pac-12 also had previously announced that they have a testing in place where they can do the rapid testing. So they already had the leg up on that. So now that the Big Ten step up to the plate and did their restart, I see the Pac-12, just like you mentioned, following suit to do the same thing,
Right. So now to the conference that matters, ACC games this week. Start off with Miami and Louisville. My assessment to this, and I know you're going to be digging way deeper than me, but I think it boils down very simply. This is an old school game y'all about to see. Y'all about to see run some more from both sides of the ball. And I think the key to this game is on both defensive sides of the ball. Whoever can stop the run will win this game.
Run, huh? Well, yeah. I
Louisville
think
has a guy that can tote it too, but it's just one of him.
I mean, when you look at Louisville, right, and you look at, I'm sorry, say it again.
And the quarterback runs a little bit too.
No doubt. When you look at these teams, you see a lot of similarities. However, Louisville quarterback Cunningham, number 3, he just came out of career outing last week against our homeboy Western Kentucky. Right, man. He put up career numbers 343 yards passing last week.
Right.
So running wise, he didn't do his damage, but he did score on a scrambling, and he's definitely a dual threat, like K-Lou was mentioning. But to me, what Louisville does, that they definitely had a lot of more explosive plays over top. Their passing game, and K-Lou, you're being official Cowboy fan now. They have their version. They have their version of the triplets, right? Between the quarterback Cunningham, the receiver who's originally from Miami, Tutu, right? He had over 1,500 yards receiving last year, and then they running back number 10, Hawkins, right? He had over 1,000 yards, and between just those two alone, they finished nationally in the top 10. Those two guys as well, and then now based on last game, you saw some receivers step up. Number 81 step up, number 7 step up. But when you talk about defensively, right, both defense are attacking type defense. Louisville, they're struggling up front. So what they have to do, they run a stack defense, 3-4 stack defense, stuff like that. So what you see, they do a lot of blitzing to stop the run. So to me, what's going to happen is it's going to be either they're going to have negative yards but then they're going to give up a big yard, a big gain.
Yeah.
And you saw it against Western Kentucky last week. They gave up some big yards in the running game, all right, just because of they used the blitz to stop the run, you know. But for me, I think Miami, though, is built for this. I see their defensively, they match up well with the Louisville offense. Miami, based on defensively, right, because one of the Louisville kryptonites, K-Lou, is their offensive tackle. They lost a first-round pick last year. Benton, I think he's with, if I'm not mistaken, he's with the Jets, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So they have a tough time protecting the quarterback. And with Miami like to do the pressures and stuff, I see once they stop the run, right, they're going to be able to go get this guy, right? And then on the back end, from that standpoint, and then Miami offense versus Louisville defense, like I said, Louisville defense, unfortunately, they haven't had the type of success their offense have. So I see the transformer crew, man. When you talk about running game, I see, man, Cam Harris. I see those freshmen, those lightnings in a bottle, man, Knighton and Cheney. And then obviously with King, he can beat you with the legs too. 16 consecutive games where he scored. Not only has he passed for a touchdown, but he run for a touchdown. I seen that being the difference once again for Miami because last week, man, we had over 300-something yards rushing, close to over less than 500 yards of total offense. So I see Miami continue to have that same success. And one thing, K-Lou, that you'll appreciate special team-wise, Louisville need to clean that up, man. I mean, they had a muff punt last week, and they had a block. They gave up a block, and obviously Miami special team is really nice, man. Their kicking game, the kicker and the punter they have is incredible. So they need to clean that up on both sides of the ball as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that special teams. They started out 7 or tied. The score ended up being tied up after they went right down the field and scored. They got it back, got a punt block, and ended up giving a touchdown away. Basically, it was at the half-a-yard line. Yeah, so that's huge. You can't make those kind of mistakes against Miami. Not this year. UCF, man, Josh Heupel against Jeff Collins, man. We were able to see Jeff Collins.
No, not
Georgia.
I'm sorry. You talking about Duke? I'm sorry, UCL.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Jeff Collins is the head coach at
Georgia Tech. Yeah,
Josh Heupel is at UCF.
Yeah.
So
no doubt. I'm sorry.
Who had a okay year because in Orlando now, man, we used to win in national championships right here. Hey, we don't care if we got the bomb. If our fans got to raise the money, we'll care about the BCS. We gonna get us
people champs, baby. The people champs, y'all. Hey, we the co-champs.
Hey, man, I didn't believe it. I was arguing with a UCF fan. The BCS maybe not the BCS, but college football actually recognized that. They actually did. If you look that mess up, I didn't believe it. I had to look it up. I was like, oh, y'all was right. Because MB, they throw a parade and everything around here.
Hey, I'll get in where I fit in. Hey, nobody want to dance with me. I'll dance with myself,
They had a parade. I was at Disney. Disney threw them a parade.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
I was like, y'all clowning, man. Stop it. MB, I never believed any of it. And I'm sitting there watching the news like, they serious. They really went there.
Hey, Lou, hey, you got to get in where you fit in, baby. You know that's a Florida technique, I ain't mad at them. They don't want to invite us to the party. Hey, man, we'll make our own party. And that's what they did. I don't blame them, man, because it's hard enough, man, to go undefeated, right on any level, And for them to do what they did, man, and then be left out the party, I don't blame them. I would have did the same thing too,
Yeah, you look at this game though, man. UCF is going to be struggling a bit because this is their first game. So missed tackling, miscues on offense, just not continuity team-wise, coaching-wise. And it's sad because Georgia Tech already got battle tested right out of the gate. So that's what you got coming in. Now they've cleaned everything up. This ain't a team you want to see with your first game. This ain't the D3 school, MB.
No doubt. And for me, I was able to watch the Georgia Tech game last week versus Florida State, and I know we had this conversation before, but man, I was really impressed with Georgia Tech. Coach Collins has done an excellent job of collecting bodies and players and putting those guys in a position to make plays. Because I thought maybe they was another year removed from transitioning from that triple offense, right? With Paul Johnson offense. But man, with the talent they have, like you said, like people say, it ain't about the X's and the O's, about the Henrys and the Joes. Mm-hmm. And man, they got some Henrys and Joes on that team. They got a freshman quarterback that has a chance, another dual threat type dude that can run and pass the ball. Obviously, he's got to do a better job of protecting the ball. He threw 2 costly interceptions last week against Florida State that could have cost them the game. But defensively, man, I'm really impressed with what I saw the talent-wise, especially talking about the secondary of Georgia Tech. Man, they got some NFL-type bodies in that secondary. And for me, man, I see Central Florida. I hate to go against my boy Randy Shannon. He's the defensive coordinator over there, but Georgia Tech may squeeze out another W again, man, this week.
I tell you what, MB. I mean, if they do, let's say UCF, Georgia Tech goes down, UCF beats them. What does this say about FSU? Woo.
Yeah.
South Florida, going up north, flying up north. They gonna get some Indiana in their life. They playing Notre Dame, man.
South Florida, huh? What's your thoughts on that, man? With Notre Dame? Again, you talking about last week? The Duke played them, so the Duke showed the blueprint on how to South Florida how to beat them.
Well, I think again that game was super sloppy. I thought that Notre Dame running back is a player. Williams, he's a player. I think that's the strength of their team. They're still trying to figure it out in the air because every one of the receivers, including the tight end, who I actually like, are all new guys. So a couple guys stood out last week. I think they're going to go right back to those guys and try to figure out who's going to be our go-to. The quarterback is, he's
a returning starter.
He's the only bright
like
spot.
You mentioned, though. He doesn't have the support that he needs. The running back, though, that's the one that we talked about is a player.
Yeah.
And, with Notre Dame, they always got those big boys up line. Up front. So it starts with them, So I definitely, man, with the running game, that definitely gives them a chance. And then once you establish the run, then now it kind of clears everything up top because you're able to do the play action pass or you have the RPOs that you talked about earlier.
Yeah, and South Florida, sadly, is they not sadly because they actually played last week and they were able to beat up on your old ball coach, man. Wasn't Bush on your staff?
Huh?
Wasn't Bush wasn't on the staff with you? Was he there as a
he was a D-line coach.
Assistant coach. Yeah, so they beat up on Bush last week, man. South Florida did. Yeah. They started out 1-0, played against FAU. Florida Atlantic. I always get them mixed up. Florida, what is the other one? FIU, FAU.
They got FAU.
Yeah, they beat FAU last week. No. My bad. They played them.
Yeah. They didn't play FIU. I didn't think FIU played.
Yeah, they ain't play them.
Yeah.
Who did they play? That's what came. That was underneath. I thought that was the game they had played. I can't even find who they played. But they won. So they 1-0. We'll see what comes up with them. Last game I want to mention is Duke versus Boston College. And I think this is Boston College, this is actually their first game. So again, they in a bad situation. They in a situation where they get to play a team that then actually got a chance to make a ton of mistakes first week. And Boston College, sadly, going to be making these mistakes this week. They're returning a running back, though, that can play, MB. We starting to say this a lot. Have you noticed that, MB? We mentioned ACC, and then we talk about a team running back, and we start talking about how good he is. Okay. So, I mean, I know it's early. There's still a lot of football to be played, but right now the ACC is looking mighty good when it comes to that running back position, especially at Miami when you got 3-4 of them.
Oh yeah. I'm curious to see this linebacker you was telling me about, Rump. That was the dude, that I'm curious to see him, man. I've been sleeping on him. I'm curious to see what type of game he has. And obviously with Boston College, they got a kind of clean house over there. They've got a new head coach, so I'm curious to see what he does. He was at Coach Hayes. He was at Ohio State the previous year, and everybody kind of excited about what they have. But I don't know if they got enough players. They lost a lot of guys. They lost another running back. They had A.J. Dillon, first round pick with the Green Bay Packers. That joker was a beast, man. He moved the chain.
Oh my goodness!
You could not bring no paper plates to the party when you try to tackle that joker.
I think he was 245, 250,
and he was a beast. He's a grown man, a grown man trying to tackle. So I know they lost him. So
I think he's in Green Bay, right?
Yeah, he's at Green Bay.
Yeah,
you're right. So I'm curious to see what they have. I didn't think they had a lot of talent as is. So obviously the first game and then. For them playing and stuff like that going against your team. So I think Duke may pull them out one, man. I think they can get it done.
y'all lucky y'all ain't on the schedule, baby.
Hey, y'all don't want to see us, man.
That's all we want to play. Hey, when we look at it's a great mentioning Ohio State and them. I think that's a match made in heaven. And whenever I think whenever Boston College is looking for coaches, they should look in the Big Ten because their teams always resemble that look. When you look, they do not look like a ACC team ever. Every year they come out with them huge linemen. They come out there with them Pittsburgh, Ohio linebackers, and they plug and play. Not a whole lot of athleticism, and on offense, they get a big running back, some big old linemen, and they come downhill. So it's perfect, for a coach that's coached in the Big Ten to not only come there and coach them, but to most importantly, recruit, because now he's recruiting those same kids.
Yeah, and I think it's a great combination when you talk about Boston College, man. Historically, man, me being at Miami, we played them, and they always played us tough, and they always gave us problems. Like you're saying, they have a Big Ten mentality, right? In back in the day, it was the Big East, and now they take that same thing to ACC, and they're intentional. I mean, they follow a whole different blueprint, and really who helped set that is Tom Coughlin, because that's where
he sure did.
He cut his teeth there, and so it's that same blueprint that he put in place that you see they try to duplicate as well continuously. And then therefore you see some hard-nosed players where you see a Luke Kuechly come out of there. Right. You see like different players, receivers. Well, I think Edelman, is that where Edelman from as well, if I'm not mistaken? One of those receivers. I could be mistaken on that one.
Yeah,
but you see those type of players. You see the Hasselbeck brothers, they came out of there. You know what I'm saying? You see tight ends that come out of there. You see those type of players, smash mouth type players that come out of those programs, hard nosed. And so you see that type of mindset. So you're right, that is a natural fit. So you can get those boys. I think he'll do a great job getting those boys from the Northeast, that type of school and integrating them into it and have a good combination of smash mouth football, but have that speed dynamic in the skill position as well. So I'm curious to see what they do. But to me, they was depleted, and so I think Duke, like I said, can pull it off. Hey, you mentioned about South Florida. Last week they played Citadel. They beat Citadel.
Okay, Citadel.
And South
Clemson
Florida
got them this week.
Huh?
Clemson got the Citadel this week.
Oh, bless their heart. Bless
you been down there before, MB? You remember coming down there? You better tell everybody you came down there before.
Oh, to Citadel?
Yeah.
No, I never been there.
Yes, you have.
Where?
You came to me and my wife wedding down there.
Oh, I'm talking about
the
university. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I've been down there.
Yeah. And MB,
I thought you come out to the college. No doubt. That was a beautiful wedding.
Hey, actually, I never had been there until I moved there, and I never knew Citadel was there. So I was driving one day looking for somewhere to go train, and just walked out there and got escorted off. I was like, "What is this anyway?" Like, this is school. And it's a military school too, MB.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it
So,
right now. Go ahead.
yeah. So we
You
got
mentioned,
one more. Go ahead.
no, I'm saying you mentioned and go ahead, Kalu. Go ahead.
Oh, I was moving on to our
Yeah,
last
yeah.
story. So if you had something in
No,
there,
no, you good, you good. Yeah, I messed up about the element. I forgot
oh,
what
okay, Kent
receiver
State. He
played.
said Kent State.
Yeah, what receiver played? Because Edelman played against what's the name? The head coach at the Rams. They played against each other. You know, they
I don't
talked
know.
about yeah.
I don't know.
Because Edelman was a quarterback. What's the head coach at the Rams? Sean McVay
So he played against him.
in college.
Okay.
Yeah, they played because they was talking about that when they was playing. But I forgot what receiver. I'm having a brain fart. What receiver in the NFL? But go ahead, Kalu. You good?
No, so in closing, man, a happy story, a happy ending story, man.
Yeah.
Maya Moore retired from basketball to fight the good fight a fight of justice. There was a guy, a family friend of hers, her family, his family, super duper close, growing up, and he was 23 years ago found guilty of a crime he didn't commit. Maybe 2 years ago, she retired from basketball to fight, trying to get him out of prison. She succeeded, MB, and the story goes to you.
Yeah, she succeeded. Like you mentioned, she met this dude. The story is her godfather was helping this guy, and she met him when she was a high school senior. So they've been keeping in contact, and she just took the cause, man. And so it was right. So now they was on Good Morning America. I want to play this tape, this clipping from there, just to show, because they made a surprise announcement, man. And I tell you what, it surprised me as well. So let me pull this up right quick, and so we get a taste of what I'm talking about.
There is something else, though. Another collaboration, if you will, that you two are engaged in. So, do you want to share any announcement or anything with us, Maya, Jonathan?
Absolutely. So, we wanted to announce today that we are super excited to continue the work that we've been doing together, but doing it as a married couple. So we got married a couple months ago, and we're excited to just continue this new chapter of life together.
Hey, Kalu, what got me? Hold on. Did I stop it? Kalu, what got me, man? Hey, when she was talking, man, that dude was licking his lips like, girl, I'm going to tear you up.
Hey, it's going to be some smoke in the city, man. That dude did 23 long years in the game, man. He was in the chain game for 23 years, boy. Hey, look, all I know is if I'm my brother, you better not kill my sister. You better not kill her. That's all I'm saying,
what did you say when we was talking about it? You say, man, if she ain't retired, she was going to retire.
She done now. If she ain't retired yet, man, if she hadn't retired, she was going to retire now. Because it was
that dude, he was looking at her like, girl, when we get home, I'm going to get you.
I tell you what, man. I just think, man, it's a situation like the movie White Chicks, man. It's gonna be some wheelchairs. Wheelchairs in the game, man. So I think it's gonna be I think it's really nice, man. It's really beautiful. The situation, no doubt, what makes people happy, man. I think it's a great thing. And Maya, to take on a fight like that for anybody or any situation, it's just unbelievable. And to sacrifice your career, when you think about people doing things, because it's the right thing to do, they tell their story, and he even says he fell in love with her, but he told her, look, do not commit yourself to me because I don't know what's gonna happen with me.
Right.
So she still was fighting, even still, knowing that it was a possibility he's gonna do the rest of his life in prison.
Right. And you talk about that, and you talk about, like you say, digging into that story. Because I'm just like, okay, what happened? But when you see the history, how she been knowing this dude since she was a senior in high school, and just the relationship and time spent and all that. You know, I tell, one thing we say all the time, that consistency can bring intimacy, that you got to watch out who you consistently spend time with, because it can bring a type of intimacy, right? And so initially when I saw it, I was like, whoa, what happened? What's going on, Mike? But when I heard the story and whatnot, man, and just knowing her being a strong Christian, and just her heart and her characteristic, truth be told, I was initially caught off guard. But once I heard the story, I wasn't surprised. I don't know her personally, but everything that add up, man, I could just see her making that type of commitment. Because what we say all the time, right? People say, hey, the most important thing to me is my faith, my family, and football, right?
Right.
But a lot of times, football is really the most important thing. But for her to do what she did, and I know it's some talk that she was burnt out and stuff like that, but she went all in, and she's showing that her faith is important, but then also she's showing now this guy being her husband and her family is more important than sports. And so it's definitely a sacrifice, because, to me, Maya, she don't get enough credit, but to me, she is like LeBron or Michael Jordan-ish of her generation,
Oh, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And so what she did, just to walk away in her prime to do what she needs to do, is like, man, that speaks volumes, So yeah, I don't know if it's a lot of different opinions from it, but for me, looking at it from that, once I got all the facts, I'm like, I could definitely take my hat off to her, man.
Well, we appreciate y'all coming and hollering at us today on this.
Hey, Lou, what happened to the
Oh, I thought you had banned that video.
No, I thought you cleaned it up. No. All right, don't. All right, we got it. But K. Lou, you got to show the video. Hey, I'm gonna pray for her though. Good Lord, that joker been in jail. Man, we can't see in the wheelchair. K. Lou, don't play the beginning of it.
I ain't even doing it.
K. Lou, play the beginning of it. Ain't no cursing in the beginning. Play the beginning. Let's play the beginning of it. We need to pray for Maya Moore though. Good Lord, the way that joke was licking his lips like LL, man, he was like, girl, when we get home, he's like, yeah, I'm married.
Hey, man.
Hey, Lou, you got to show it, man. Go ahead, man.
Oh, man, there you go.
Go ahead. No cursing in the part of, Go ahead, man. Show the leak, because I ain't never seen this before. Just the first part of it. Man, we got to keep her on our prayer list. We doing prayer tomorrow, man, on Zoom. I'm going to be praying for her, good Lord, that she recovered. You know what? She went old school, because basically in the Bible, K-Lou, they used to be like, if you got married, that was one of the reasons why you couldn't go to war, You got to stay home and spend that year with your mate. Do you have the volume?
Yeah.
I don't hear it.
Like you just coming from
there you go.
Looks like you headed to LeJardins, which is funny because he doesn't usually have girls that don't have their legs working come over.
I'm not coming for that. I'm coming to give him a piece of my mind. My legs don't work. It's been 2.5 days, and I have a presentation, so I'm about to go off on him.
Rookie mistake. First off, you need to call in for your vacation days messing with the Jardin, because you're going to need like at least 3 days to get your legs back.
Noted. Thank you.
Everybody's a rookie at one point.
Well, look, man.
So please, y'all keep Maya in your prayers, man. That joker, the way he was looking at her, oh God, we need to pray.
Look, man.
Man's bed is undefiled, man. So, but now on a serious note, man, we hope. I can't wait for the book to come out, K. Lou. I want to hear the real story behind that, man.
Oh man, yeah, or movie. Well, we thank y'all for tuning in again tonight, ballers. Y'all are special to us. We appreciate y'all chiming in and always hanging out with us. We'll see you next Tuesday. We got a special show for y'all on Wednesday, man. We're gonna do a little throwback situation. You'll see what it's all about and see some announcements on Facebook and stuff like that as we get closer to it. So we appreciate y'all for Sideline the Baseline MB.
And K. Lou, hey, appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe, man. Like K. Lou said, we're gonna have a good time. Make sure y'all don't want to miss it, man. Y'all take care now.
All right, Sideline the Baseline, and we are gone.